My first portfolio completely flopped, and it's specifically because I didn't do these things. Hello everyone! Welcome to Art Business with Ness. I'm Ness and I'm a professional illustrator. Today we're talking about picture book portfolios. If you're an artist who would love to illustrate children's books for a living, then I made this video just to help you. Getting a portfolio exactly right is extremely difficult, especially if you don't have prior experience in this market. What do you even put in there? What do you need to demonstrate? It can be very tough to figure it out. But don't worry, because you have me and I'm going to be helping you out today. But first of all, if you're new here and you would like to see more videos about freelance illustration, then make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell. The bell sends you a notification every time I upload a new video, and this way you're sure that you won't miss any of the advice. Alright, so let's start. I have two big pieces of advice to share with you today. The two most important things about specifically a children's book illustration portfolio. The first one is storytelling. Telling a story is the purpose of children's book illustration. And when building a portfolio, you always need to keep in mind the purpose of what you're trying to achieve. You need to remember constantly, what is the art going to be for? In surface design, for example, you need to create art that's going to be very decorative and trendy. But in picture books, the goal is to tell a story. Everything that you do, every single decision, it all needs to come back to that. The composition, the colors you choose, every single thing, you need to ask yourself, is it helping tell the story? What is the best choice to help tell the story? Now, what does that mean exactly, concretely, for your portfolio? It means that you need to focus especially on the characters. These are the agents in your story and the focus of it. Everything else, locations, props, etc., are supporting. But the characters is where the story is happening. Not focusing on the characters is a mistake that I made in my very first portfolio that I put together. I'm really good at backgrounds. I had several perspective classes in college, so I decided to show that off by making these elaborate backgrounds. Sometimes they had absolutely no characters in them, or there were some characters here and there, but all small in the background or not even looking forward, not being the focus of the illustration at all. The result of this? I sent this portfolio to over 200 publishers and I got 0 gigs from this. It was a huge waste of time. I wasted literally months of time working on this, and it was such a blow that it didn't work at all that I very nearly gave up freelance illustration altogether. But thankfully, I stuck it out. I decided to get help. I got several portfolio reviews, and then I revamped my portfolio based on that advice. And this time, after I sent it out, I got 2 gigs from it, one of which was my very first picture book deal, and I also scored my first agent that time too. So a very stark improvement. The funny thing is, my actual drawing skills didn't improve during that time. The only thing that changed was the type of work that I showed in my portfolio. And this shows just how crucial that is. There is real strategy to what you put in a portfolio. It's very, very important. Storytelling is one of those main skills that you really need to show in every single image. And you do that by doing this. First of all, focusing on the characters. Every single image should have a character. They should be fairly big in the image so we can see them. Focus on what they're doing and what they're feeling. Second, use text prompts to help you, right? Tell an actual story by having an actual line of text or script to illustrate. And 3, don't just illustrate the same thing that the text says, right? If the text says Ron was on his way to school, don't just draw him on his way to school. You need to add something to that, because the illustration helps tell the story by showing what the text cannot. I have one more big thing to cover, but first I wanted to ask you, do you already have a portfolio or are you still working on it? Let me know in the comments right now, how's that going for you? The second most important thing to show in your portfolio is correct formatting. The best way to show an art director that you can do the thing is by doing the thing. As a picture book illustrator, your job will be to draw pages for books. And yet, I'm always so surprised whenever I see a portfolio from an aspiring children's book illustrator. So many of them do not show actual pages in their portfolio. This is a huge mistake and wasted opportunity. Most art directors need to see your work in context to visualize if you're actually going to be a good fit or not. That's especially true if you're new to the industry, have no experience at all, right? If you don't have any prior books to show for yourself, then you need to show fake pages in your portfolio at least so they can see what it is that they're going to get. There are many skills specific to picture books that you need to demonstrate in your portfolio in order to convince an art director. Things like leaving space for text, no crucial bits in the middle of a double page spread where the gutter is, otherwise that will be cut out, right? Not too crowded, not too sparse, a good middle ground. And having a nice composition that puts the emphasis on the characters and flows naturally from left to right, the direction of reading. And all of these skills can be demonstrated wonderfully by just putting pages in your portfolio. Seeing is believing. So instead of putting just a bunch of standalone illustrations in random formats in your portfolio, create actual pages. Single pages and double page spread. Both are very important to show and will cover all of your bases. Now you can include the text or exclude the actual text if you wish. Both are fine. But if you decide that you actually want to put the text in the final image on your portfolio, make sure that you actually study book designs and current trends with the fonts, the size, the placement, and all of this. This is actually a lot more difficult than it looks. I'm not very good at it personally. And bad text, right? A bad font or too big, too small, it can really ruin the whole image. It can make it seem very amateurish. Even if the art is really good, if the book design is not, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. So if you want to do it, just make sure that you do it right. If you prefer not to risk it, you don't actually have to put the text in there. You just have to leave the empty space in the illustration where the text will actually go. And art directors will be able to picture exactly what that is for. Funny story, when I first signed with my agent, she was reviewing my portfolio with me and she suggested a few things that I could add to round it out. One of the things that she wanted me to do was to create a double page spread with some sort of religious theme, like a nativity scene is what we ended up deciding on. So this is the page that I ended up sending to her in the end. As you can see, there is no text there, but when she saw it, the very first thing that she says is, "Oh, that's great. This really shows that you know how to make a layout for a double page spread in a book." Despite that there's no text on the picture, you can see very clearly the composition is two scenes that are separated by the gutter in the middle, right? There's a scene on the left, there's a scene on the right, it flows from left to right, and there's space for text that was planned in this composition. This is good enough. This is exactly what you want to show in your portfolio. So these are my top 2 things to keep in mind when you're building your picture book portfolio. Of course, there is much more to the topic. I've accumulated a lot of knowledge throughout my career in picture books, and if you want to know more about this subject, I have a very exciting announcement for you. You'll be happy to hear that I created a special program just for children's book illustrator. I call it the Picture Books Portfolio Prompts. This is a much shorter course than my Art Business Bootcamp, if you're familiar. This one is only a 10-day program, but it's very intensive. It will take you through the 10 most important things to nail in your portfolio in order to impress those art directors. This will be an email course, and during the program, every single day you will receive this big email with a lot of detailed tips and advice about a specific topic. It will give advice, examples, and there will also be portfolio prompts with this, hence the title. The prompts were specifically written by me to help you pull out the specific skills that you need to show in a picture book portfolio to its peak potential and to give you inspiration for how to demonstrate those skills. 3 picture book prompts per day. And so a total of 30 prompts in this course, more than enough to choose from. So how much for all of this? The regular price of the program will be $60, but as you know, I love to give my early adopters a huge discount. I did this to thank you for trusting me like this. And so for this first launch, you can get access to the whole program for just $27. That's cheaper than takeout for 2. If you are an aspiring children's book illustrator, I think you will find this is the best money you've spent all year. Enrollment is open right now and will be open until July 30th. After that, the doors will close and the actual program will start on August 1st and run for 10 days until August 10th. We're going to have so much fun. I can't wait to get started. This super cool program will give you insider industry knowledge, clarity, and inspiration to create an amazing picture book portfolio or improve your existing one. So come join me. Go in the description below right now. I will leave a link to go and reserve your seat. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed the video and the tips. If you did, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help our small channel grow. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.